Okay, what a whirlwind of weeks I've had here. I should have looked at my last video to see what was up, but basically my vision went double again. I thought I was having another mini stroke, and like drastically double, meaning what I was seeing and the doubled one of it was like full vibrancy as the thing. Like, I ended up having a blood clot in my optic nerve of my left eye last time I had my mini stroke. So the double vision kind of went away, but I still saw a second thing, but it was very faded. So when I say vibrant, I mean I'm seeing the exact clarity of the shelf above the shelf. And then that lasted a couple minutes, and then it went down to back to the double vision that I was seeing, where the doubled thing was faded. Then I brought my cats to the vet. I took in 2 foster kittens that were found on the streets of Newark, New Jersey. And so I took in 2 foster kittens. I was taking them to the vet, and as I'm at the vet, I felt my left side of my face tingling. So I didn't have a mirror. I used my phone, and I saw that I had left side face drop. So when I smiled, it's still doing it. It's still doing it. This side is a little dropped, and it's more noticeable when I smile. Also, the neurologist felt my cheek muscles and felt like they weren't moving over here, but it's not Bell's palsy, because when I raise my eyebrows, both go up. The other thing that was going on that I didn't correlate with this at all was, for the past 2 weeks before this, my left eyelid was twitching like crazy, and each day it got worse. Like, it was doing it more times a day for longer periods of time. So anyway, when I went to the emergency room, I said that this has been going on as well. And they're like, well, that's not a stroke, because you don't twitch when you have a stroke. And then the ER doctor had me, they did all the neurological tests, like stand with your eyes closed, and I kept falling to the left. I just kept going to the left, and that's where my double vision was. That's where my eye was twitching. That's where my face was sagging. And the ER doctor was trying to say, oh, that's normal. All your neurological symptoms, you're 100% fine. So I don't know how he thought that falling to my left was fine, but they decided to keep me in the hospital for observation overnight. And then, so overnight, my vision went again. They did a CAT scan, didn't show anything. They did an MRI, didn't show anything. So then the neurologist, sorry, I got an itch on my side. The neurologist did an EEG, and before this, the neurologist came in to see me, and I had taken video of my eye twitching, and I took pictures of my face droop. So he's like, oh, I'm so glad you took a video, because it's not something that I could do on cue that was happening. So he saw my eye twitching, and he said, that's a seizure. You're having seizures. I never had seizures in my life. So if anything happens that's happening weird, take a video of it with your phone so you could show people. I even did the face droop smile test on video to show, in case it wasn't happening at the time. Also, I think it might timestamp when you do it. My eye's twitching, so let me show you what it's doing. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. So, anyway, they did an EEG to check for seizures. He expected me to have abnormal activity on the right side of my brain, because things were happening on the left side. But during the EEG, I had abnormalities on both sides of my brain. So he said it's only a matter of time. I'm also stammering on my words once in a while. He said it's only a matter of time that we see symptoms happening on the right side. So in trying to figure out what's causing the seizures, he was asking questions about diseases or anything. And I brought up that I was bit by a tick. he said, do you live in a wooded area? And I said, why are you asking me that? Because I had a tick in me 2 months ago? He said, yes. And I said, yeah, 2 months ago I had a tick in me. I took it out, went on antibiotics right away, had a bullseye rash. And he said, okay, if you had a bullseye rash, you were definitely exposed to Lyme's disease. Maybe you weren't on the antibiotics long enough. So he tried to call my doctor's office to find out what antibiotic I was on and how long. And my doctor's office didn't have a record of it. And I know they put me on antibiotics because the whole time I was on the antibiotics, my INR went down. And that's when I had the first TIAs. So I don't know why, but the pharmacy didn't have a record of the antibiotics and my doctor's office didn't have a record. So I'm wondering if I filled them at another pharmacy or something odd. I don't know. But I know I was on them. So I got to investigate that. The infectious disease doctor that saw me at the hospital, I was in the hospital for 3 days. He wanted to do a spinal tap because the fluid, he could test the fluid to see what more was going on with me neurologically. However, because my INR's been all over the place, he didn't want to do a spinal tap because in order to do the spinal tap, I have to stay in the hospital, go off my blood thinners, which is warfarin, same as Coumadin, I guess. Go off my blood thinners, do an IV heparin drip until the blood thinners were out of my system. Then go off the heparin drip, do the test, go back on the heparin drip while they're getting my INR back up. So the infectious disease doctor said it's the harm outweighs the benefit. He didn't want me to do a spinal tap, and instead they took oh my God, a handful of test tubes of blood. They had to have taken a pint of blood from me. I'd never had so many test tubes. So they're testing for everything that could make me have seizures. On top of that, I'm going to the eye doctor this morning because the eye doctor came to see me to see if it was another blood clot in my optic nerve, because now it's both eyes, and it's both eyes meaning I cover this eye, I see double, I cover this eye, I see double, which isn't normal. Usually when you have double vision, it's because your eyes are going in different directions, and she thinks that's going on as well, because she did this test where I looked in the distance, she'd cover one eye, and then she'd cover the other eye, and when she did that, my eye would move to focus, where normally they just stay put. And she did this thing where I was following her hand, and when she went to the side, either I couldn't see it or my eyes were twitching. So she thinks I have an astigmatism, as well as double vision. So I'm actually going there this morning. I'll post a video after this one. I have to make an appointment with the neurologist to see neurologically what's going on. And I have to follow up with my infectious disease doctor to see how the blood work turned out. See, I'm having problems talking. That's been going on more than I can say. I'm doing pretty good talking right now. But yesterday, it was ridiculous. I kept, it feels almost like I'm drunk or high. Not that I've ever gotten high, but it feels like that good drunk when you've had 3 glasses of wine, which is an interesting feeling to have. And that's happening, one, when I get the dizziness of the seizures coming on, and 2, they put me on Keppra, which is an anti-seizure medication. And when I take that, I have this high feeling for about an hour. So I wouldn't want to drive like that. So once I get to work, then I'll take it. And it's not high, drunk, I'm out of my body. It's more manic, a manic episode. I'm so happy, which is good. I'm more outgoing. I'm more happy, it's not a bad thing. But that's it. That's my update. Please, my eye's doing it again. It's just like an eyelid twitch, which, that's a good seizure to me. I'm not convulsing. I'm not passing out. This is the best case scenario. At least it wasn't a stroke. At least I'm alive. And so my eyelid twitches a little. I can deal with it. What I'm worried about is I'm an artist. and a photographer. And I'm worried about losing my creativity, because that's the right side of your brain. And Time Magazine just put out this month a whole magazine based on the right side of your brain and the science of creativity. So I picked that up. I'm not going to let it stop me from being creative. I'm going to force myself to do something creative every day. It might just change the output. Like if I lose my ability to draw how I do, I might draw differently, but I'm not going to stop. So that's it. Subscribe to see updates. And if you have any questions, write them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer whatever I can. Thanks so much for listening. And I hope my online, my YouTube, health diary, I'm searching for words a lot too. Maybe the neurologist can, narrow that down for me. But ask any questions. I'll answer anything I can. And thank you for subscribing. Hit subscribe now. All right. Thanks. Follow my journey. Bye.